Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Micah and Steve.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to another exciting episode of Live, Let, Thrive, your favorite short-term, mid-term, long-term rental podcast in the world, coming at you from Fort Worth, Texas. And this is episode 291 of your favorite podcast, by the way. And we have a special guest, Mr. Alex Shapiro. Who is Alex Shapiro? Well, let me tell you all about Alex. He is the CEO and co-founder of Can Monkey by day and devoted father of 4 and loving husband by evening. Beyond this, his entrepreneurial pursuits, it could be spirits, right? Pursuits, Alex finds joy in traveling with his family, hitting the golf course, and playing lacrosse. Welcome to the show, Alex. Let's dive into it, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. 291. It's a milestone. Congratulations to you, and I'm just excited to be here. So thank you.
Yeah, man. We've been at it for a while, and so today we're gonna talk all about cans, my favorite subject.
I love it.
Love me some cans. No, so what? Okay, go ahead and tell me how you got started in this industry first, and then we'll dive into Can Monkey and what that's all about.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, by accident. I had no idea that the short-term rental was even a space. Airbnb was a space. My background was in title and escrow, working with investors, but mainly on just like long-term rentals, buying at the trustee steps, fix and flips, helping them, just whatever they needed. And I just, did the title and escrow on the back end. And my business partner now at Can Monkey started it just for homeowners, and I saw a need for it with some of my clients that were converting some of their long-term rentals into STR, short-term rentals, back in 2018. And that's where I just saw like a small, maybe niche for it, maybe just, here locally. Didn't really think that it was going to be a multi-state growth aspect. It was, like I said, it was just a side hustle. That was really just for like the need of, no one likes to take their cans to the curb. People usually forget. Maybe they'll pay for it. It was just kind of one of those things. But yeah, I had no idea how big the industry actually was. I didn't really know the inner workings. I didn't know there was a vacation rental management association or different associations across it. Like I didn't know any of it. So I really came in backwards. Once I kind of figured out there was a niche for the short-term rental industry, and then I went and said like, okay, what is this industry? And then went that way.
So when you say local, where did you start this at?
We started in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Nice.
Yeah, so my business partner lived in North Scottsdale at the time. It was something that's for him and his neighbors. And I worked in the Maricopa County. And, unbeknownst to us, Scottsdale was like a short-term rental mecca. So while we were growing this, niche for this industry, little did I know that, one of our clients, had properties in another state. I was like, what are you guys doing in another state? Like, oh, we have we have properties in several states. Why? Because this is what we do. I had no idea you guys can do this all over the place. So like, I really just kind of stumbled upon it, did a really good job here. But then when we realized, okay, it took us a while to get to 100 properties, maybe we can expand and go to another market and get to 100 properties a little bit quicker, and reverse engineered everything.
No, that is a great proving ground right there, Scottsdale, Arizona. I mean, it went crazy like a couple years ago, coming out of COVID, and everybody wanted to get into Scottsdale, because I mean, in the beginning, the short-term rental industry hit up the big cities first, Dallas, Phoenix, LA, and then the second cities really started heating up, especially because the big cities started banning Airbnb. So everybody just went to the second, number 2 cities and number 3 cities. So, but Scottsdale blew up, man. And to the point where, of course, famously a couple Super Bowls ago, that was the big bust, right? The Scottsdale bust, where everybody tried to get something to Airbnb and then nobody booked anything, or most of them were empty. It was nuts.
Yes, no, exactly. And so that's, once again, like that was just, awesome for us to kind of, be here, our home state, have all those people come in and sign up, their properties for Airbnb. Yeah. Apparently some of it was a bust for sure. Not what they thought they were going to get. But that was just kind of cool for us to experience that, and see, even the aftermath. Okay, how many properties did we lose because, maybe they were just signed up for that onesie twosie, and that kind of showed us, our key markets and the markets that are keep continuously growing and they're not really affected by one of attraction or whatnot. Phoenix, we've been here the longest since we've been started here, and definitely has its ebbs and flows. In the summertime, a little slows down a little bit. But we've realized now when we expanded to these other markets, we're in over 23 states now. But Florida's always growing. There's certain markets in Florida that can continuously stay busy. Park City has its ups and downs. So while we expand and go to these different markets, we kind of learn their different idiosyncrasies as well.
Oh, hey, how y'all doing? Stevie Stacks here from Live Let Thrive, and I thought I'd give a quick shout out to my buddy Brian Wynn over at themusecoffee.co. Man, this is some good stuff. Brian's a longtime listener of the show, fellow entrepreneur, and he's been sending us coffee for a while now, and this is some really, really good coffee from the best places on earth, best beans on earth, freshly roasted and sent to your front door in a couple days, and you'll know what I'm talking about. So my buddy Brian Wynn over at the Muse Coffee, hit him up. He'll hook you up. If he knows you're a fan of the show, you put in code LLT, you get an extra 20% off your order. I mean, what do you got to lose, y'all? Help us keep the lights on, help a fellow entrepreneur, and get you some good coffee in the process. Themusecoffee.co. Yo. Nice. So 23 states. And is you in Dallas? Are y'all in Dallas?
Yeah, we're in Dallas.
Okay, cool. And so I would assume it's primarily out of houses, correct?
Yeah, for the most of it, it's all single family residences. We don't really deal with condos or apartments. We do have some townhomes that have cans that are maybe in the garages that we can service, but for the most part, it's single family residence housing and communities that we service.
And I see when I started doing this. And I started out of my house over here in Hurst, Texas, right down the road from Fort Worth. It did get to the point where I was like, holy crap, who's going to take the trash out? I'm not at that house anymore. Even though I was in the area, I'm like, damn it, I have to go over there on Tuesday, and then I have to go by, either early morning Tuesday or the night before and put it out. And then it was in that particular house is where you just lay the bags on the ground. So you don't want to put them out overnight because then the animals would destroy them, right? So it was it was a conundrum. I was like, I guess I got to do it. And then my cleaners don't want to take trash with them a lot of times. And I'm like, geez. And so I saw a need for this early on, and I actually came up with an idea, and I got a website for it. And maybe me and you could do some talking because, well, here's the thing too: the cat taking the cans to the curb, that's cool, but sometimes people put a lot of trash, like apartments and stuff like that. I know y'all are probably brainstorming how to handle that too. I'm pretty sure, but like smaller like trash removal. That's the thing because people do. There's Airbnbers, man. Sometimes they come to town, they want to hang. Cases of beer. They want to party. They want to hang out, and there's a lot of trash left behind sometimes. And so even if you put all that stuff at the curb, the next person coming in is going to see a mountain of trash when they're checking in, right? And so, yeah, that's how I was looking at it, kind of different than how you were looking at it with the just setting the cans by the curb and then putting them back. But so that's a long ramble right there. So I did actually. I'll tell you the name of my company, Trash B&B. I bought that. I don't know if you were searching online. You might have seen me, but yeah, Trash B&B. It's a big, strong name. GoDaddy says it's worth a lot of money. I don't know. Whatever. I might sell it. I might sell it to you.
And that actually does to cut you off. We do offer that service now. So nice. Our foot door was the can to curb, and what we've realized that, like to your point. Some people have trash recycling on separate days. So we're at your property 4 times a week, 16 times a month, almost more than anyone else will be at your property, taking the cans to the curb and back, especially if they're on separate days. What we realize is that while our can runners are there, they make note of, excess trash. So exactly to your point, if trash gets emptied on Thursday, but then you have a checkout on Sunday and a new arrival on Monday, our clients don't want their new guests seeing their old guest trash.
Mm-hmm.
We also are a technology-driven company. We have our own applications connected to different APIs with the Guesty, Breezeway, some of these scheduling systems. So we have access to your scheduling, where we know when you have a departure and arrival coming, and it's 72 hours away from trash day. We can automatically schedule an on-demand trash removal to go to your property, remove it. And so we do have that implemented right now. We're offering that in every market that we have can to curb service. We also have on-demand trash removal, and we have can cleaning.
Nice. So trash removal. Now that's the part I was trying to do some research on back then, but I have a million things going on. So it was like a side hustle. And now, are there certain, like, I mean, you have to get like permits from the city to be able to remove trash from someone's house? Is there stuff like that?
Yeah, so for us, we're really like the Uber of trash. What we do is we partner with local local vendors in your community. So say like we're in your Hearst, town, we'd find a local junk removal guy that's in your area, and what we do is we take the volume of properties that we have and we negotiate a price with them. So we'll say, hey, go to this property and remove this trash, and they're negotiating a price with us. So we collect the money from our clients, but we pay the local vendor. Kind of the same thing with the can cleaning. We're outsourcing it all to 1099 independent contractors. There are, can runners. We're not out there actually taking the cans to the curb. I own no trucks. I own no cars. I'm operating all this from Tempe, Arizona, managing over 50,000 stops a month across our country, taking cans to the curb. And what we do is use the technology to take photos that are time stamped to make sure the can runners are, putting the cans to the curb and back. There's issues. I get real-time notifications if there's ever excess trash at your property. That if there is, I then get sent to my on-demand department, because it is a different entity. Our can runners have different insurance policies on them, as they're kind of just rolling the cans to the curb and back. What we found early on is maybe we saw a trash bag and we'd throw it away and thought we were doing the right thing, but actually the trash bag wasn't trash. There's clothes in it, and why did we do that? So that's why we kind of put these things in place where we get told we're really good instruction takers. So if we do see the excess trash or we see that bag on the ground, we send it over to you and say, hey, would you like us to remove this, or do you got it yourself? And usually you're not there. And so you say, oh my gosh, can you remove that for me? And we say, yeah, we'll schedule it for you. And then we schedule it for you. And, just that charge will go to your account at the end of the month. So it's like a one-stop shop for all your trash solutions.
So when you say Uber, so these guys, your can runners, are they independent contractors? They're not employees.
No, so as much as I'm talking about the short-term rental industry and the homeowners that pay us for a monthly service, my other clients are the can runners. The can runners are in the gig economy. So think about Uber Eats, Grubhub, Instacart, individuals who are using their car and working on their time to create some extra income. So maybe they do Uber in the morning, they do Grubhub in the evening. That dead hour, the dead time for them is usually around 11 to 4. Well, that's exactly when I need, the cans taken to the curb and back. So what we do is provide them persistent and consistent schedules for, our routes. We're all creatures of habit. So if I give you a route this week and you love the schedule on Monday, you loved it how it went on Tuesday and Thursday, Friday, then you do it again. Then we give you a schedule like you would if you're a bartender. If you have to go to the bar tonight from 4 to 8, and that's your shift. So it kind of almost get a shift, but it's the same thing. They know that that's going to be an hour and 20-minute stop. Or a route. It's going to be 18 stops. It's going to take drive them. They'll drive 3 miles. Do you accept it? I accept it. And then they get that route and they use the application to go to each stop, take the pictures, what needs to be taken to the curb and whatnot, and they just follow it. And then next day it's going to be even easier. Because you kind of learn it's all the same after that.
Now, I know most of it nowadays. Most cities have the the city trash cans that you wheel out there and you wheel them back, whatever. But like I said, I mean, you're in areas where they also just put the bags on the ground too.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some areas that have like the bear cages because there's bears and raccoons, and so in Tucson they have javelinas, so we put these cages, these little cords on them. In Kansas City, there's bags on the ground where you get to get special bags from the local city area. They're tagged. So like I said, we're really good instruction takers. So every market that we go into is a little bit different than the last market. Austin, Texas has recycling every other week. There's not a lot of cities that are doing that. A lot of markets in Florida have trash twice a week. So you just kind of learn what the client needs and what they're already doing, and then we just don't recreate the wheel. We just do the same thing. And so we just follow the instructions. And so there's some, areas that the cans have to go out early in the morning because of the HOA. So we have a route early in the morning. So we just really follow what we're being told to do. And then we do that.
Nice. Now, I guess, I mean, it's a business, and these are independent contractors like an Uber, like you said. Now, I know you had to think of everything. Like, okay, what happens if this dude's wheeling out a cart, twists his ankle, or he's taking out a bag and he says, "Oh, I got stabbed by something." Or, I mean, what happens in those situations? You mentioned insurance.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, either we're, knock on wood, we don't really have, any issues. There hasn't been anything that has been like that. Like I said, we're doing 50,000 stops a month right now, 11,000 stops a week. We've seen it all over the last over 5.5 years. Really, there hasn't been any issues that I can even go back on and say this is what had happened or, may be the case. But we have the same kind of insurance like a pool cleaner would have. Essentially we're going behind the gate and just taking the can to the curb, and then we're just wheeling it, and then we're wheeling it back. We tell our can runners if they feel not safe about going in the backyard, maybe they didn't tell us there's a dog and there's a dog back there, just to document it. If there's been cases where there's been whatever the case may be, we tell our can runners to make sure they're safe at first, and we'll deal with anything after that. But really, it's they go at reasonable times. Most of these properties are short-term rentals. A lot of them are dealing with different people in and out because there are not a private location, it's more of a public. And we have like properties in Scottsdale are like on mountains, going down a steep hill. And we must have really agile can runners that are able to take the can to the curb and back. But we haven't had any issues with anything. No dog bites, nothing. I mean, honestly, it's yeah.
Hope I didn't jinx you. Sorry.
I've been asked the question. I've been asked it before. And no, it's one of those things where I just think that we're not doing anything crazy, and if they feel they feel like the cans are overflowing and they're too heavy, then we'll schedule on-demand trash removal and we'll remove them that way.
Cool. Now, how much does something like this cost, man? Like to get my cans taken to and fro. How much does something like that cost?
Well, we start off at $49 a month, and that's for one trash, one recycling can serviced on the same day, weekly. There's some excess, maybe additional prices if you have more than one trash can. If you have a long driveway, and those are mainly it. For the most part, long driveway or multiple trash cans might be a $5 extra charge, but for the most part, majority of our clients are paying $49 a month per property.
$49 a month, and that gets you 4 trips. For
as many as it needs. Yeah. One for weekly service. Yeah. So some of our clients have like 4 a week. That's 16 a month. We're still doing it for $49.
Damn, that's a steal right there.
Yeah. So we're really a volume base, and we've really been able to figure this out at a volume. It didn't really, it wouldn't really make sense if we only had 300, 400, 500 properties, but we have about 7,000 properties on the platform now across our platform where, Phoenix being our main market, we have a really dense, concentration that, we're not in the business of losing money, but to start out a new route, if we go into new markets, sometimes, we're losing maybe a little bit, but we know if we add 2 more properties on, 4 more properties on, we now know those metrics and those numbers of what a good route is, how many stops you need to be stopping in an hour, for it to make sense. And some of our best routes, are doing anywhere from 75% profit margins to 89% profit margins. As we're building that route, we're more of a logistical technology company. And that's the difference between us with Uber and whatnot, is that Uber is trying to make as much money as they can on that one job, where we're trying to make as much money on each route. So if I have a route that has 16 properties on it that a can runner can do within an hour, how do I get the nearest neighbors and add 2-3 more stops on that route that now he can do 19 stops in an hour, because not really adding much more to it, because he can walk to the next property. So we really gamified this. So we did a good job of adding a bunch of properties onto our platform, getting the service brand out there, and then now we're looking at our properties on each one of the markets that we're in and seeing how do we get the nearest neighbors, how do we get these routes a little bit more condensed, and that's where we're kind of gamifying it now to where, okay, if a can runner can do 15 stops in an hour, how do we get them to do 20 stops an hour by adding the nearest neighbors? Like, what's our marketing now? Like, are we doing door hangers or hanging them on the cans? Is it phone calls? So a lot of our growth has been me reaching out to property managers or me putting myself out there, meeting individuals that then share the brand. But now the next thought process, okay, now how do we go outside of just me doing it, but now having the brand speak for ourselves, actually doing marketing now and implementing that in a way where we can really grow our presence.
That's smart, man. So the trash removal, that's got to be, that's cost more. That's something separate than the 49, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, and that price we kind of not coined, but we kind of get our prices around the $49. So with that, it's starting at $49 for the first trash can to be emptied or the first 10 bags on the ground. And then if there's additional trash cans, it'll be another $20 per can after that, or $2 a bag on the ground. So if you're looking for 2 trash cans to be removed and 3 bags on the ground, you're looking at 49 plus 20, 69 plus 6, $75. And our clients usually use 1-800-JUNK or some of these other companies because they don't really know what to do, and they're charging you like $150 just for a shoebox. So with us, we're really trying to figure out how to get that at scale. And then what we do is, once again, we partner with local vendors in the area. We say, hey, look, we have 100 properties in this market. We're going to be using you for all of our junk removal. Can you help us help you? And so now we negotiate with them to where we're trying to make anywhere from a 10 to 20% profit margin. We're not trying to make a lot of money on it. It's more, if anything, if I make a mistake taking your can to the curb this week, because I am dealing with humans at the end of the day, I have someone in place that can go empty your cans out, to where for you, at least, the Can Monkey, no matter what, is your cans are going to be emptied, whether the city empties them out or if we make a mistake, I go empty them out for you. So that on demand really had happened as like more like a safety net for us, like a safety blanket, to make sure that we had something in place. At the same time, what we've found, and what you even said, with Trash BNB, your idea was that it happens regardless, right? So even if we miss, that sucks, but it's good to have that as an insurance policy. But really what we found is people actually need that in place. And so that's what we've done, is built these relationships in place where, we're able to get this, a lot at a cost, because we're telling this guy, hey, we're going to, give you this many jobs coming in. And if sometimes we don't hit it, we lose money, but at the same time, it's worth us having that as a partner in our business in that market.
Yeah, big time. Because yeah, I guess, when I was thinking about doing this, it never happened, like I said, but I still got the name. But I was thinking of something like that. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can get some of these youngsters that know how to use these apps and the Ubers and all that stuff, and they can do their whole block or the couple blocks. I mean, it's trash day, and then people start signing up for this, and people forget. I forget. It just happens. But if you have like a youngster to go just up and down the block, here's another idea, because like this street might be Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the next street over might be Wednesdays and Fridays. I was like, well, if the people are checking out on a Wednesday and our trash day was yesterday, then maybe I can get someone from that block to go take it and put it with with their trash or something like that. It was just, and I was thinking of the same way, like you said, Uber, not hiring employees to do it, but like the Uber style where they can, hey, and they go pick, oh, trash needs to be picked up here, 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 and then go hit it.
No, and that's exactly what is my business partners thought, the same thought process. He's like, look, I can have my son, I get the neighbors to do it. I can have my son be the can runner, and then I don't have to do cans anymore. And, so that was the same thought process. And that's why I'm saying, like, we're trying to gamify it now, because your exact point, it's like, if you can get a neighbor kid now to go do it for, $16, an hour, you go walk around his block, he doesn't need a car, maybe he uses a scooter, he uses the app. It's like a modern day paper route. Right. And it's the same route every week because it's the same properties on the schedule. So we're trying to make it like a modern day paper route, but for trash cans. But that's exactly what the thought process is.
That is cool, man. That is cool. Who designed your logo, by the way? It's a pretty cool logo.
Thank you. My business partner, for me, I came into, Can Monkey already a year in existence. So really I'm now the co-founder CEO. And really my thought process was going after short-term rentals, which my partner didn't want to. He really wanted to go after homeowners and just keep it that way. He didn't really see a need for the management side. And like I said, I only saw it because I had friends that were converting and saying the same thing you said earlier. Oh my God, I have to go to this property, take the can out on this day, then I have to go back. And then if I forget, it's a $50 fine. He's like, I'd pay someone $100 a month to do it. And that's where my light bulb went off. I was like, oh my God, I got a buddy that can do this for you. I was like, how many properties do you want to sign on? He goes, I got 20 for you. And I took those 20, and I think CanMonkey had 19 signups in its first year. So I literally doubled it within one client. And I was like, look, this is how we're going to grow. And it's kind of what I did in title and escrow. I didn't really go after individual real estate agents. I went after investors who maybe bought 10 homes a month. My fee for file was a little bit lower on the title and escrow side of it, but I had more volume. So I use that same concept of what I did in title and escrow and with, short-term rentals. Why go after 20 people and maybe get, 2 homes when you can go after 2 people and get 20 homes, So it's smarter, not harder. And especially being a bootstrap company, you have to make your dollar last as long as possible, and you got to grow your company as fast as possible. So once again, we're now a logistical technology company, but I have no background in technology. I have no background in software. What we did is my business partner and I actually created a business. We were the ones taking the cans to the curb ourselves. So the first 100 properties, we knew what it entailed, what you might see, what the garage codes may look like, what gate codes may look like, what it looks like in general. And then at that point, we knew how to replicate ourselves and get a can runner, what a can runner would be, how much would you pay them, how much could you do. You had to figure out all this. So everything that's built right now out there, in competitors of ours now, and the pricing they have is all based off CanMonkey, because we are the first can to curb service provider. They created the category can to curb for us. And there was no one else doing this yet. So the pricing structure and everything we have was built really around what my business partner and I needed, but now what it is just kind of taking its own form, and, with thousands and thousands of properties on the platform and helping people across the country, it's now, people are telling their neighbors, and it's just now taking its own little ecosystem, which is great, but we're still just getting started. And, it's been a fun ride, and, having conversations like this just keeps helping me, make sure we know we're on the right path, and it's crazy that you had the idea. It's nothing crazy, it's just, we just did it, and then we just kept doing it. And then it was just the pandemic happened, which was perfect for us, we didn't know, so it was just one of those things, we just kind of fell into this, and we're making it work for us now.
Yeah, I love that. And the fact that, so it might start out as something that, really catered to Airbnb, short-term rentals, but, spreading into something else, right? Just like, let's just say Uber at first was Uber Black, and it was supposed to be these big, giant, beautiful SUVs. And then Uber X, and then everybody could do it. And it was just turned into something totally different, billion-dollar company. But I love that, how it's. And I automatically think, there's a lot of old ladies out there living alone. They can't do a lot of stuff. And I'm not saying to go and gouge the old ladies. I'm just saying, but maybe there's someone on the block that does it for them. And they're like, God dang it. I'd love to keep doing this for sweet old lady. But I got work. I got obligations of my own. Oh, I could use this CanMonkey thing, and I can still help her out, and she don't got a lot of money, but I can help her out, and yeah, there you go. Maybe they start a little sweet old lady foundation inside your GoDaddy, not GoDaddy, your CanMonkey.
No, and that's a good point. We actually have now adult children paying for their parents. The elderly parents, they don't want them to fall, taking the cans to the curb. So they hire a service like us, to make sure that their parents' cans are getting taken to the curb and back, and they don't have to worry about it. So that wasn't a thought process of a avatar of, people who we could go after. And now it's a no-brainer. It's yeah, you're right. We should be going after every 55 and older community. One of my neighbors is the fire chief of our city, and he says majority of the calls they get for these 55 and older communities are falls, not necessarily taking trash cans to the curb, but they fall. And so it's if we can help maybe even get with these insurance companies and say, hey, We can help with, these elderly by taking the cans to the curb, help mitigate a fall from, taking the trash can. Maybe Medicaid can get involved and then that's where, so we've had all these thoughts of how to definitely go after these other, sphere. And for right now, just being a bootstrap company and just trying to build out a concept and see if it's profitable and see if it's scalable and see if it's sustainable, which we have now. It's the low hanging fruit was a short-term rental, but now knowing where we're at now we want to add and gamify it. It's, it's endless of all the different, criteria, people that we can go after and get on our platform.
Now, you mentioned something really important earlier. You said that you came in after it's already been a year in existence, and you came in as a co-founder CEO. Now, how did that dynamic work? What brought you? I guess you saw it was a good idea, and you thought you could add something to this. And how did that work? And then how did you minimize, potential conflicts and stuff like that as a partnership would have?
That's a good. That doesn't get asked a lot, that question, and I feel like it's a good point because I get asked a lot, like you did earlier, like how'd you come up with the logo, and it's really it's not my baby. I came into this afterwards, almost like a step parent. It's not my baby, but I'm raising this baby. It has my last name now. It's like I adopted it. But in the beginning, my business partner was one of my first mentors. He had started this when he first told me about it. I laughed at his face. That's a silly idea. It wasn't until I found out my buddy who had the short-term rentals, and he would pay $100. That was the first time I was like, oh my gosh, maybe he's onto something. And really, I had just started watching this show called Billions. Bobby Axelrod, invests in these companies, and I had a really good W-2 in title and escrow, and I just thought I could be like a Bobby Axelrod. Like maybe I'll, help my buddy out, invest some money in this, and see if I can manipulate it, and whatever. That was it. I was really content with my company where I was at. That was in 2018 when I invested in Cam Monkey. So all of 2019, I was just a partner in it, just invested. Helped Cam Monkey grow by just giving my insights and some sales and marketing aspects. 2020, the world shut down. I lost my job at my W-2 May 2020, and I was really at this crossroads where I could go and get another job at in title and escrow, or I could go all in Cam Monkey. So I went all in Cam Monkey, and it wasn't really until like 2020, 2021 where I started having these conversations with my business partner, who was the founder, where it's like, hey, like, I want to be the CEO. And he's like, oh, you don't know how to be the CEO. Like, how could you be? I'm like, who knows this better than I do? What are you talking about? So like definitely was that like butting heads, or, what I've had studied afterwards, founders guilt, or, founders think that should be a certain way. So someone else is coming in and saying it should be a different way. They, despise it. And there's definitely some of those things that had happened. And I think with me, I'm just very, persistent, and if I feel fair about something, and then I'm going to stick to it. And Mark and I, my business partner, had we had a history together. Like was one of my first mentors. He's 12, 13 years old, or 15 years older than me. So I look at him as more not as a peer, but as like a mentor. But I think with that, he looked at me as a mentee. So I think when I'm coming him saying like, hey, I know how to do something, it's like I know how to build businesses. So it definitely was that, friction. But I think with me keep showing that I was committed to the company, I was doing what anyone would do for their stepchild, or, for the child. And I was treating it like a child. And I put my own money in it when we needed to. Like I did everything that he was doing. So when it got to the point where we were really taking this side hustle and creating it a startup, it went from a side hustle to a startup to a company. Now it's going from like a company to a business. And as we were growing it and then looking at cap tables and looking at some of these things, it's like, hey, I should be X, I should have this. And that's definitely some conversations. But I made valid points. And I think that the value was there. And I think that he realized that what I brought to the table. And it's, I can definitely see from both angles, but, I think just from what I had helped get it to, was undeniable. And it was just one of those things. I think he was like, no, what, I'd rather have you with me than without. And at the end of the day, taking cans to the curb is not really, there's no startup to it. Like anyone can do it. You have a car, you have a body, go do it. So it's like, look, I can compete with you if you want, and he's like, no. So it's like, I didn't want to do that either. So it's one of those things like we were better together. And you just kind of it takes trust on both sides, but I give him his credit when credit's due. I always say he's the founder. I don't take anything away from that, even though I came in at 19 properties, which is very, infant stages. But he also did a lot to help us get to this point too. Like there's both sacrifices on both ends. Like I would never come into something if he didn't put that money and effort and everything in the beginning, so I can't overlook that either. So I think it just takes maturity on both sides and just understanding.
It's really big of you to notice that you could bring that to the table, and it's really big on him, to trust you with that, to put the ego aside, because that's a big deal, man, and realize, okay, you've got a skill set that could take us to another level. If I keep in this role, we might not get there. And that's every great, team, or every great band or whatever it is, with a group of people coming together for for a common cause, for a common goal. And then you put those egos aside, man. And it's hard to do. You got to have some tough conversations, but yeah, okay, hey man, dude, I sing better than you, man. I got to be the lead singer. Oh, all right, man. I got to be quarterback. I can, I'm Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna be quarterback.
Yeah, no, you're right. You kind of have to shoot your shot sometimes, and like, not that he wanted to put me down, but you kind of have to like, I can do it. And it's like, are you sure? I can do it. Like, let me show you. And if you find someone better than me, then I'll be the first to say, you're right. Bring them on. But until that moment, let me see what I can do. And I had to prove myself, and not just to him, but to myself and to the company itself. And it's like, like, am I leading the company the right way? Am I doing the right things? And like, at first it's kind of silly when you're starting your own company and you're like, I'm gonna make myself the CEO. It's like, what? Like you're, it's kind of fake almost, but then you start, and then I start, going to these conferences. I start meeting other CEOs and co-founders, and I start learning, what they've done. And I'm like, oh my God, I've done that. I'm like, oh my God, maybe I am a CEO. Maybe I am doing those qualities. And it's like, oh my gosh, I was made for this position. And it's kind of crazy because I go back to that very beginning when I said, like, I thought maybe I could be a Bobby Axelrod. And then like, I actually I did do it, just maybe a different route. I wasn't, I'm not a billionaire, and I had to actually work in the company and not just manipulate on that sidelines, but like, I still manifested exactly what I wanted. And now I have a business where I've been able to hire some of my best friends to come work and help me build something where, we've always gotten the short end of the stick of these other corporate America companies, but now we have, a chance to write our own check. We have a chance to, work hard, not just for someone else, but for ourselves. And then creating those opportunities is really something that I like to, I've always been a part, creating win-wins and helping my people. In whatever aspect it is, whether it's directly they work with me or we're partners and my clients are their clients, and how do I help you grow? And I just know I have an abundance mindset and it'll come back, and so I think all those things applied.
So what are some of those CEO qualities that you feel that you had that you could really contribute to the company?
I've always been a connector. And I had no idea that, just the way I can pattern recognize, where I can, see remember what this person had done and how that could apply to us. And then, having them come in, and it's always like the right timing. How we've been able to bring in our chief technology officer who built our application. If I really look back on all the things at CamMonkey and some of the pivotal moments, I'm not saying it's me directly, but it's been something where like, I can go back to like, oh my God, if I didn't have that conversation, or if I didn't meet that person, or if I didn't do that, it's always been me going out of my comfort zone and being that connector of having that conversation and just knowing how that person can apply themselves and their strengths. And that is our weakness and how that could work. And I remember the story when I was really young where, Henry Ford, someone was, kind of calling him out and, you never went to school for this. And how do you know how, combustion works? And how do you know how a radiator works? And this and that. And he just turned his phone around and said, look, I know if I hit number 8, it calls the guy who knows about the radiator. If I call number 2, it calls the guy that knows about the engineering. Because I just know the guy who knows, and that's kind of how I am. I don't know how to build software. I don't know how to build technology, but look at my team. Look who my advisor is, who came from, Turnkey, who, was, the CFO of Turnkey. So I've been able to build these relationships where it's been able to create win-wins for everyone in a way where it also behooves CamMonkey.
Yo, 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 Stevie Stacks again. One more quick shout out to themusecoffee.co. That's themusecoffee.co. Get you a freshly roasted bag of coffee today. Go to themusecoffee.co, use code LLT, and get you 20% off of a bag of the best coffee you'll ever have in your life. Themusecoffee.co, y'all. Yeah, I like that, man. That's the connector quality. I feel I have that too. You know, I got my company over here, Argis Rentals.
Yeah.
I feel kind of the same way. And yeah, you got to have a lot of patience, I think, in my eyes. You know, the way I feel about the CEO role. I'm not saying I'm a reluctant CEO, but I kind of know how to put the people in the right places in a way. That's just a gift of mine, and you know and I'm sure you got that quality too. So it's definitely the connector. I feel makes a really good CEO.
1,000%. I think knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses and knowing that, this person is better than you, back to the whole ego thing, I think that's, is huge. I feel like I'm a delusionally optimistic person. I feel like I could do the best of everything, but I also know my limitations. I know that, what, I don't like doing, and making sure that I find someone that, does the opposite of that, likes doing something I don't like, and then I get along with that person, then perfect, and that's exactly my whole team around me is a bunch of people who are way smarter than I am at the things that they're doing. And you hear this and then you're like, and then you just kind of do it subconsciously. And that's where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just doing this naturally. I'm just putting people in places that they need to be in. And I'm getting credit, but it's like, really, I'm not doing anything. It's my team, and I just make sure I give my team the credit and just make sure that, like, all I'm doing is just giving them the space and then giving them the environment to succeed in. And I'm the first one to take blame. If they fail, it's because of me. What did I not give you? I didn't give you the best directions. Okay, I'm going to get you in front of someone that knows way more than this. Here, let's have a meeting. And once again, I'm just connecting my people with someone else. And like, hey, can you share all that knowledge you talk about to my guy? And what I found is that people, especially CEOs, everyone wants to help everyone. And I have some CEO, friends of mine at other companies where if I've asked for, like, hey, what was that documentation you asked for when you were talking to an advisor, or what would you do at this position, at this point? They're open books, kind of like what I said in the beginning. Like, I'm an open book. Like, I want to help people because, once again, I know the more people I help, it just comes back to me one way or another. The worst thing you can say about me is that, oh, well, he did help me do this thing, but whatever else, like, I'm okay with that. So as long as I, can leave a good lasting impression, and it doesn't have to be that our service or anything, that's just an added bonus. I know eventually down the road, if someone does need a trash service or a solution, then hopefully they think about Camp Monkey. But for the most part, if you already have the system and solution in place, cool. Best of luck. And if you need someone, then let me know, and I'd be happy to help. But it's really like just an abundance mindset.
One of my favorite quotes, a Patton, General Patton
Yeah.
quote, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher it, was like, "Don't tell a soldier how to do something. Tell them what you need accomplished and let them amaze you." I thought that was a cool. I was like, "Wow, that is pretty neat, man."
I like that.
Yeah, just let them. I
That's,
mean, yeah, go ahead.
no, you're right. Like, you don't want to show someone how to do something. You want to, maybe let them know, let them figure out themselves. And now they, take ownership of it because they figured it out, themselves. And that's probably one of the worst things I do, maybe, is I give people too much autonomy. But then again, and when they succeed, they own it, and it's theirs, and that's what I want. I don't want to tell them how to do it. I want them to figure out themselves and make it even better than what I could do.
And for the most part, that works great. What I've noticed, but every now and then, let's just say, something in my business that I needed something accomplished, and I said, "Hey, this is what I need accomplished. You know how to do it. You can figure it out." Doesn't get done exactly, how up to par, and I won't get mad at somebody or nothing. I'll say, "Okay, let me examine this," and I'll dive into it and look at all the moving pieces, and I'll make a crap ton of looms or whatever videos, and I'll walk through it with the loom, see what's going on. I was like, oh, okay, here's the issue. Boom, boom, boom. I'll figure it out, loom it, send it to them. There we go. We figured it out. That, so you can give a lot of autonomy. That's cool, but
Yeah.
it doesn't work 100% of the time. But when that rare occasion, I'll dive into it myself and see what's going on, and then hand it back to them. Oh, here we go.
That's perfect. No, Loom's great. We just started using that not too long ago. And
Oh, I love it.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's so many different needs out there for not just the cans and the trash removal it just I mean it's there's so many different ideas. And for example, what comes to mind here in North Texas, every single year we get a deep freeze, right? Either for a few days or a few weeks. It doesn't matter. We get a little bit of it. And but we're not a up north state where their pipes can handle that crap. So everybody, a lot of plumbers love it because they get they make a crap ton of money. But people don't cover their spigots outside. That's a thing that needs to be done, and people don't do it, or there's a big rush on those the day before, and there's none left. And so yeah, I mean, just ideas come to me like, whoa, hey, I'm gonna do your cans tomorrow. Hey, it's gonna freeze. You wanna buy a couple of these spigots from us, and we'll put them on for you, and everything will be good. Your pipes will be good. I don't know. I just thinking of all these ideas. You can save thousands of dollars just by doing something, putting these 99-cent things on their spigots.
Dude, you must be in our conversations. I swear, everything you're saying. So this is what we're implementing right now. Is that so what we've turned ourselves into with our technology is a logistical technology company. So like I said, we're really good at building routes. I already have the can runners in place. I have all the properties there. We're adding in these other services that our clients are asking us for. Clean the propane or check the propane tanks. Make sure that the water pump is on for the pool. It's heated. Do inspections for properties, make sure that the code works, make sure the lights are on, make sure the Wi-Fi password works, make sure the air conditioning is set, little things like that. We've been asked, and but the water, make sure the water doesn't freeze, turn the water on at the house. So all these things you're saying are things that we've been asked over time. We're now finally with our technology and applications in place that we could add these other services. So can to curb is our foot in the door. It's our one thing, but from there it's going to open up all these other services, and that's where our advisor Gen 4, who came from Turnkey, really sees Can Monkey down the road. It's not just a can to curb service provider, which is what we are, but really like a platform for our short-term rentals for all their one-offs. A lot of our clients live in different states and have properties there, so they need help with pools. So we have Pool Monkey in Arizona. Power washing, window cleaning, gate, all these different things we've been asked to do that we've been thinking about, adding in, just like we had with the on-demand trash removal and the can cleaning. But really being a one-stop shop for any checking your mailbox, bring your packages in the garage, things that we are going to be doing anyways because we're at your property. We could do these other services for and just add on maybe some extra charges.
And it's funny because I listen to a lot of entrepreneurial type shows and stuff like that. And one thing I hear a lot from like successful people, of course their days are filled. They're busy. They even if they reach a level of success, they keep going. They want more and more, whatever. Is they're like, man, I just need what I really need right now is a home manager just to do all these things that I can never get to. The garden, the like you said, like you mentioned the trash, the power wash, and this and that. They want like some kind of home manager to do all these small things for them because they can never get to them.
Yeah. It's like we're like an Angie's List without like actually outsourced to different companies. We're the ones doing it. And so we would have vendors on our platform that are already vetted, that are already ready to go, that now our clients would just go on the platform and say, all right, yep, I'm having family over this weekend. I need power washing done in the backyard. I need my windows cleaned. And then schedule trash removal on Sunday because I'm definitely going to have trash after this party on Saturday. And really, we're just collecting all that data from them and then just scheduling it for them when they need it.
Pest control's big.
Pest control, all of it. That's what I'm saying. Like anything that is already getting done on a property, we can add all those services on and then have vendors of ours, ready to go on the scheduled days.
Just pay one monthly fee. I don't have to worry about crap anymore. This house is going to be running smooth. Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
Yep. That's the plan.
Well, cool, man. This is a great conversation because and you answered a lot. I was going to ask you. I guess a lot of our listeners are entrepreneurs, right? And so the A to B, how do you just get this out of your head like an idea and turn it into a real business? I mean, is there steps you should take? What would you have done different? Stuff like that.
What I've learned now is you just got to do it. My business partner, he is a complete opposite of me. Like I said before, I'm a delusionally optimistic person. Entrepreneurship definition is jumping off the cliff and building the airplane while you're falling. And so in that analogy, I'm jumping off the cliff, building the airplane while I'm falling. I'm tied, with the bungee cord to my business partner who's still on that cliff waiting, reading instructions, looking for every single tool. And I'm saying, dude, screw it. We're like, just come on. He's like, and he's hesitating. So like you can sit and wait all day long until the timing's right. The timing's never going to be right. You just got to jump into it. And what I found is just do one thing. And once you get your foot, like one thing started, then you do the next thing, and then you just do the next thing, and then it'll happen for you. So I hate saying that, but it's like there's a saying, when you commit, the universe will assist. And you just got to commit to whatever is in your mind and just put it on paper, reverse engineer it. What's the last thing that you would wish that would happen? Okay, this is it. Okay, now how does that reverse engineer that? How to get to that point? What do you need to do before that, till you get to the point where like start. And some people are like, well, I need a website and I need this. And I've done companies without even having a website. I'm more of a revenue covers all sins. I'd rather have revenue coming in, knowing that I have a service that people want, and then go worry about email and website and all that. I think so many people are that paralysis by analysis where they like don't even do anything because it's so overwhelming. Oh, I got to get an LLC. I got to get EIN number. I got to do. Dude, no, you don't. Like, just screw it. Like, get a client, and if you have someone that's going to pay you $1,000 or whatever, then go get what you need. But just see if you have something first, and that's my thought process in the businesses that I had built, like can to curb, like you didn't need anything. So like, luckily, but you want to do power washing? Okay, cool. Why do you go get a power washer? It's $300. Okay, cool. You're going to go get that off Craigslist for $300. Okay, but what jobs do you have? Well, nothing yet. Well, how about you go ask your aunt and your uncle and friends and see if you can get like 5 jobs scheduled for this Sunday. Okay, wow, you got 3 jobs for this Sunday. Each one's $300. You're gonna make $900. Like now go buy it, and then now you have $600 left over on Sunday. Do reverse engineer it. A lot of people are like try to get all the stuff first and then do it, and it's just like you have so many more things that can go wrong. And if like you just got the business and ready to go, then that's easier.
Yeah, you're a lot like me, man. I think the same way. I don't know, just do it. He goes, well, didn't you look for that property? Well, didn't you study Airbnb and all these things and what the market for? No, I just got the property and I just put furniture in it. Let's go. What are we going to do here?
My mom used to tell me when I was younger, and I thought it was a compliment. It was like, ignorance is bliss, and that's how I've always just kind of like, I don't know. I just never like let myself like think things were too hard. I was always ignorant. Ignorance is bliss. Because then once you start realizing, holy shit, I should have like done all these other things first, you would never have done it. But if you just did it, you just will figure it out because you will. If
I don't know if you read it already, you need to read that Elon Musk book because he was saying he just like, I don't know, electric cars. No one wants those. Someone will buy it, and he goes and makes the biggest car company in the world, richest man in the world, didn't do one shred of market research or advertising or anything. He just wanted to make a great electric car, and then now everybody on the planet wants one. It's like he wasn't looking at all that outside peripheral stuff. He just wanted to do one thing and do it great.
And that's literally what you have to do. And especially if you want to, be someone that's building a business, you can't look at all the outside stuff. You have to have someone that, I would say like, there's like a, 10-foot wall of snow and I'm just going right through the snow. And then the people behind me are carving it out a little bit bigger, but you have to have that person that just goes through the snow first. And it doesn't look pretty. It's like, it's not, the biggest hole, but you're getting through and you're making inches and you're making treadway. You got the team behind you that carve it out and make a big tunnel. You don't need a big tunnel if it's just you. Just do what you need to do. Just get in, make the dent, and then everything else will take care of it from there.
Just plow through the snow, Alex Shapiro.
That's it. And then you get snow monkey. So
snow monkey. I think that one might already exist, right? The website Snow Monkey. Yeah.
That's what I realize now. Like monkey in any name is just you pay for the monkey names. It's like that's silly. Like pool monkey. We bought pool monkey, and it was like, I'm like, why am I paying this much for pool monkey? It's not even a thing, but just because it had monkey and pool in it, and it's just like you gotta pay for it. So
monkey sells, baby.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on, man. Inspiring episode. Who would have thought talking about taking trash cans to the curb would be such an inspiring episode? But it's entrepreneurism. It's everything, man. It's all together. Where can people find you, Alex?
LinkedIn. I'm K. Alexander Shapiro on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram, Alexander Shapiro. Facebook, same name on all of them. Cammonkey.com is our website. Check us out. Like I said, we're in over 100 cities, over 23 states. We're almost every major, short-term rental market. If we're not in your market, reach out for us. We can get there within 15 to 20 properties on a route. Can get started within 5 to 7 business days as well. So we're always looking to expand. We're always going to the next city where we get asked to go. So we don't know where we're going next. Our clients will let us know. And so we're just taking care of our clients right now, taking care of our routes, making sure that we're getting better every day, and looking for an opportunity.
Cool, brother. Keep on keeping on.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you.
All right. Take care. Live, let, thrive. Out.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.